Not something that you and I expected to be talking about this morning. News broke in the early hours of the morning here in the UK and overnight in the States that Wyndham Rotunda, known as former WWE champion Bray Wyatt, has passed away at the age of 36. The notice of Mike Rotunda's passing was made by Paul Levesque on Twitter, who shared, just received a call from WWE Hall of Famer Mike Rotunda, who informed us of the tragic news that our WWE family member for life, Wyndham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt, unexpectedly passed away earlier today. Our thoughts are with his family, and we ask that everyone respect their privacy at this time. Now, there had been numerous reports of Bray Wyatt suffering a medical issue that kept him away from WWE television ever since before WrestleMania. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful posted the following. I was given permission to reveal that earlier this year, Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, got COVID that exacerbated a heart issue. There was a lot of positive progress towards a return and to his recovery. Unfortunately, today, he suffered a heart attack and passed away. I encourage those reading to respect the family's privacy, if at all possible, but his loved ones wanted some details clarified. So we now know the cause of death was a heart attack. We know that there was issues with his health for a while, and this is a blow regardless of how you look at it. But in the past few weeks, you and I have sat here and we've talked about how Bray Wyatt is close to a comeback, how he's progressing really well. In the last couple of weeks, we understand that he'd been medically cleared for a WWE return as well. And so this is gutting in every sense of the word. Born Wyndham Lawrence Rotunda in Brooksville, Florida, May 23rd, 1987. He was always going to get into the wrestling business. That was without doubt. I mean, Wyndham, his name comes from Barry and Kendall Wyndham. He's the nephew of two of the former Four Horsemen. His dad was Erwin R. Shyster, IRS in the golden years of the World Wrestling Federation. His granddad, Black Jack Mulligan, one half of the former WWF Tag Team Champions. And whilst he got a football scholarship to Troy University, the gridiron wasn't where he was going to find his horizon. It was always going to be in professional wrestling. He made his debut in a ring for Florida Championship Wrestling in 2012. He was Duke Rotunda at that point. He and his brother Bo formed a tag team in the early days of FCW. He was put on the national stage as part of NXT, back when NXT was, of course, a strange old game show, and Husky Harris was presented to the world. He would become part of the latter version of the Nexus as well. He'd be introduced into that gang after its initial inception, but he would be sent back down to FCW at the conclusion of that storyline, where he would start to cultivate the Wyndham Rotunda that we knew and loved so well. The character of Bray Wyatt, born from cult leaders and the movie Cape Fear, fashion-wise inspired by New Generation star Waylon Mercy. All these elements come together to create this persona that would take him from FCW into NXT, as it would become NXT, and then from NXT onto the main roster of WWE. And that star power simply could not be denied. It would see him in feuds with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. They would see him competing against Randy Orton and John Cena. It would lead him to the WWE Championship. He would stand, I remember him walking out on SmackDown after Elimination Chamber and having that belt on, the crowd chanting, you deserve it, over and over again, as he took the belt off, held it up and said, I have the whole world in my hands. It was a moment in time to see a guy like that make his way through the ranks as well. Now, he would end up stepping away once again. And in 2019, when he came back, he spun the creative world on its axis once again with the creation of the Firefly Funhouse, this Mr. Rogers-esque macabre performance that underneath was lurking the Fiend. And from there, it was once again another opportunity for Bray Wyatt to show his incredible creative flair and a creative force that simply couldn't be denied. We saw the Fiend enter into major storyline programming. He become WWE Universal Champion through all of this once again, and he would find himself using that incredible canvas in storylines with guys like Seth Rollins, Randy Orton once more, and John Cena. The Firefly Funhouse match from WrestleMania 36 was something that I think we all needed at that time. The world just shut down, and WrestleMania was being held at the Performance Center, and Lord knows we needed something just to take us away from just the echoing Performance Center that was showcased in WrestleMania. And wow, did the bizarreness of that Firefly Funhouse match do just that. Now, in 2021, we saw Bray Wyatt disappear from our screens once again, and it was in the summer of 21 that, to the shock of all wrestling fans, he disappeared once again, this time seemingly on a more long-term basis, because he was released from his WWE contract. And we were shocked by this. There were rumors of him taking that amazing mind, that brilliant, malleable brain into Hollywood and doing stuff in the horror movie world. But he went very quiet for a long, long time when he was released from his WWE deal. When there was a guard change in WWE, we would see him make a stunning return at Extreme Rules. And he would start to introduce at least a whole new cast of new characters, including Uncle Howdy. And just before WrestleMania, we saw him disappear once again, and there was concerns of a medical nature that meant that he couldn't be part of WrestleMania, and it just a very unceremonious disappearance once again for Bray Wyatt. However, signs were pointing to a Bray Wyatt comeback. Reports just before his death say that Rotunda had been making positive progress towards recovery and had been medically cleared for a WWE return just 2 weeks prior to his death. However, of course, it wasn't to be. Tributes have poured from far and wide for Bray Wyatt since his passing. Mick Foley writes, "I thought so highly of Bray Wyatt and was so flattered when he started using that mandible claw for his finisher. He was a true visionary, one of the most compelling presences that wrestling's ever known." AEW, Impact Wrestling, WWE have all shared tributes online as well, with WWE announcing that all Bray Wyatt merchandise, all the net proceeds from that merch will go towards supporting Bray Wyatt's children and Jojo Offerman as well. The Rock adds, "I'm heartbroken over the news of Bray Wyatt's passing. Always had tremendous respect and love for him and the Rotunda family. I loved his presence, his promos, his in-ring work, and connection with the WWE universe. Very unique, cool, and rare character, which is hard to create in our crazy world of pro wrestling. Still processing losing the GOAT, Terry Funk, yesterday, and now Bray Wyatt today. My love, light, strength, and mana to the Rotunda family and Funk family through this tough, heartbreaking time. As always, thank you for the house." Braun Strowman, former member of the Wyatt family, reacts on Instagram. 8 years ago today, I joined you as your black sheep. If I knew only 8 short years later, I would have to say goodbye. I sure as hell wouldn't have taken so much for granted. You were my best friend, my mentor, my big little brother, my brother of destruction. You were there for all my highs and lows as I was for yours. I'll see you down the road, friend. Slap Brody on the ass for me when you see him. I know this isn't bye forever. I love you, Hoot. Alexa Bliss, who worked another memorable storyline alongside Bray Wyatt during 2020, writes, "What an amazing human being Wyndham is. An amazing and kind friend. One of the most creative minds to ever walk the earth. Wyndham, you brought so much joy and happiness to everyone around you. Sending my love to the Rotunda family, Jojo, and their babies. We love you, Wyndham." No doubt there will be more tributes throughout the day. And I'd like to think that you're sharing your favorite moments from Bray Wyatt in that comment section down there as well. And we here, of course, at Cultaholic, we send our condolences to the friends and the family of the once in a lifetime, the indelible, the great Bray Wyatt, aka, well, real name Wyndham Rotunda, who passed away at the age of 36.